Hey folks, December 6th, 2025, and for those of you who do not have access to a garden and you want to grow something, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how I grow microgreens. Now I have daikon radish seed. I originally bought these a few years ago to use as potential cover crops, decided against that and instead used them to grow full-size daikons but also microgreens during the non-growing season so I could have something green to eat during winter, for example, if I ran out of anything from my freezer. Really simple process. This is an old mushroom container from probably Aldi, and to limit the compost necessity as far as the amount to use, I basically cut it in half. Got a water bottle, and I've got some homemade sifted compost down there. And with this little setup, I'm going to show you how we can grow some microgreens. So the first thing we want to do is get some compost in this and start to get it a little bit damp. Now I do not have drain holes in this, and I do not need drain holes in this because we're not going to saturate it to the point where it's going to be standing mush. We're going to get it just damp enough to where it holds together. The majority of the moisture that is going to be used to germinate these seeds is going to be coming from the water bottle with a regular spritzing. So we filled up the container to shy of the top. Now we're going to see if we can successfully pour a little bit of water in there. And that's going to take a bit of time to absorb in. I'm also going to give it a little bit of a spritz all around and feel the weight, just because this is my process. Yeah, that's going to be fine. I will not have to water this in again. It's going to absorb in, and from this point on, it'll be just daily shots with the water bottle to make sure that it doesn't dry out. So at this time, the majority of the water has sort of saturated the potting mix at this point. Now, here's the first thing I would say. If you're working with a pre-moistened potting mix, it's a little easier than trying to take a dry mix the way I did and saturate it up, just because when material is way too dry, it has a tendency to be hydrophobic. Basically, it repels water. It doesn't really want to absorb it, so you kind of have to let it soak for a while. Here's the other thing I would say. When dealing with microgreens, most of the growing is going to be done from this seed and the natural energy that it has inside of it to germinate. It doesn't require nutrition from the potting mix, so it's going to sound weird to say, the cheaper the better, because you don't want to invest a ton of money into a potting mix for microgreens, because you're really not going to need all of that special formulated nutrition to actually grow a microgreen. Now, the reason I love daikon radish for microgreens is because, one, they taste amazing, and two, they grow really fast. I'm talking like inside 4 to 6 days, this is going to be probably a solid 2 to 3 inches tall. Now, when growing microgreens, I surface sow. Now, this is an old Keurig cup that I found. I don't have a Keurig machine. I was going to use this actually as a little cup for starting a seed at one point and never did. But I use it as a scoop now for my microgreens. And taking this, all I do is sprinkle the top of the potting mix. And I would say do a relatively dense sowing. And then once you like the coverage that you have, sort of brush it around a little bit so that you're covering more of the surface, because you don't want too many gaps, because I mean, you've got the space, you might as well use it. So if you had big gaps in there, it's kind of it's a missed opportunity to have more greens out of it. And at this point I look at it and I say, hey, you know what, that's pretty well covered, I'm done. Now I take my water bottle, a couple of good sprays. I can see some water standing on the top, and that doesn't bother me at all. I know it's going to absorb in at this point because the potting mix wasn't that damp to start. Now when I bring this inside, I'm going to take a full-size mushroom container. And when I say full size, I mean a fully intact one. I'm going to put this somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's if it has sunlight or not. Again, the seed is going to generate its entire growth cycle, these 4 to 6 days, on its own energy. It's not going to require a whole lot of light. It's not going to require nutrition. It just requires moisture to penetrate that seed coat to get it to germinate. The only caveat I'm going to say is this. When it comes to the light, they are going to reach for the light. So what I'm going to do, since I don't have an overhead light, every day once they germinate, I'm going to start rotating it 180 degrees because it's going to be in a room that has an east-facing door with a window, and it's going to pull, the seedlings are going to pull in that direction. So I'm going to rotate it 180 so it keeps, correcting itself every day. But inside, to keep this from drying out, I'm going to take a full size and put it right over top. And just like that, I'm going to have these things going for the next 4 to 6 days. We're going to track the growth each day, and we're going to see what it looks like. So today's the 6th of December. December 11th, 12th, we might call it done. So we'll update tomorrow.